Hi, it's Rachel with Stirring the Deep. In my previous video, I had started in talking about Revelation 3. This video, I want to go a little bit deeper into that, okay, and talk about what the sign of Jonah is. Now, in Revelation 3:16, it says, "So then, because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will vomit you out of my mouth." This is Christ saying this. "Because you say, I am rich, have become wealthy, and you have need of nothing, and do not know that you are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked." Verse 18, "I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, that you may be rich, and white garments that you may be clothed, that the shame of your nakedness may not be revealed, and anoint your eyes with eye salve that you may see. For as many as I love, I rebuke and chasten, therefore be zealous and repent." Okay, this is speaking of hypocrisy, those living in hypocrisy, right? They think they're rich, they think they're wealthy, meaning they think they have God, they think they have that relationship with God, and they don't realize that they don't, because they've been following these false images and just false doctrines, okay? So they don't realize that they're poor, blind, and naked. The way that is revealed is when that righteous standard comes to this earth. That is Christ returning. He is that divine character of God, and that divine character of God is completely righteous, right? So when we start obtaining it, that's when we start becoming knit to Him and a part of Him. And when we start having that divine character, then we're in harmony with God and in harmony with His will and His ways. And we have the discernment and the knowing and the walking in that. That's the direction that we're growing in. Okay, but there's many who have thought they are of God, but they're really not. They're clothed in hypocrisy, appearances of being godly, but underneath there's nothing. It's like the whitewashed tombs that Jesus, when He talked to the Pharisees, right? Because outside they had all these appearances of godliness, but underneath it was, their character was a mess. Okay, and there was no real transformation there. And that's hypocrisy is so blinding. That's why He said, "I wish you were cold or hot," because hypocrisy blinds you the most. Okay, it's also very blinding to other people about what is real and what is not. That's right, but it's especially blinding to you. And that's what's so hard about it, because hypocrisy is lies. All right, that's what a lie is. It's being hypocritical. It's saying this, that one thing leads to something when it doesn't. Okay, it's not true. Versus when you have truth and that's what's apparent and that's what you're wearing, there's no hypocrisy there. Everything's in harmony within you, within God, your connection with Him. Okay, so these people, they're thinking that they have this, but they don't. So this is, to those that He loved, this is what He's going to do, is vomit them out of His mouth. And who does that remind you of? Jonah. Remember, Jonah went into the belly of the fish, right? Because what was he doing? Running away from God. He was going opposite of God's will. He was out of harmony with God's will. And when he was, what happened? He had the raging seas. So first of all, what will be happening with the people that are hypocrites when that righteous standard comes? Okay, that is Christ returning to this earth to establish peace, harmony, love. That is why He is coming, to establish His kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, to take it back to the Garden of Eden. It's going to be beautiful. So whenever you're reading Revelation, realize this is about the journey of life coming. Revelation is like a mirror image. If you look at it from death's view, you see all this destruction. If you look at it from the revelation of Christ, the spirit mind, what you see is life coming. Okay, that's a key to understanding a lot of what's happening. So here, this vomiting out of the mouth is actually a good thing, because when Jonah, so let's recap. So Jonah, remember, the seas were raging, the waters, right? And we're symbolic of the waters. So people that are in this hypocritical state, if they aren't growing out of that, because we've all been in it, God has purged a lot of hypocrisy out of my life, okay? But for those who have not been walking that journey, what you're going to face is a very tumultuous time in your life, okay? Because if you're not in line with that righteous standard when it's here, it's going to create a lot of friction in your life. That, in a sense, is what people call the judgment, because truth is truth. If you're in line with it, then you have harmony. If you're not, and it judges you as not in harmony with it, okay? And because you're not now walking, because if you walk in righteousness, that's how your paths are smooth. When the righteous king is reigning, that's how you remain in harmony, by following his reign. So if you are not following his reign, if you're going the other way like Jonah was, against his will, then you're going to face a lot of friction. So these seas are just raging, okay? So then what happened when Jonah went into the belly of the fish? I mean, it was 3 days. It was a time of a great darkness where he came to his end. And he realized that. He said, out of the belly of Sheol I cried. That is the pit. You are going down into the pit in the darkness, because when you're in the mouth of Christ, that means you're consumed in his truth. His truth is going to be revealing all your hypocrisy. And that will bring on a lot. That will feel like you're going into the pit, because you will see you have so much darkness in you. But it's seeing that allows you to repent, to turn from your ways, because that's a problem with hypocrisy. It doesn't allow you to see the truth. It blinds you. So this is going to be the period of those people waking up so that they can repent. Because he's chasing, he's rebuking, he's trying to purge that hypocrisy where they think they're rich, but they've got nothing. So they need the gold, they need the understanding, they need that divine character, so that everything in their life comes into harmony, okay, with that God's righteous standard. So in Jonah, he says in verse 5 of chapter 2, the waters surrounded me, even to my soul. The deep closed around me. Weeds were wrapped around my head. Weeds versus that white turban that I've been talking about, or that crown of gold, which is that pure mind, that spirit mind that is coming out of the divine character. Okay, you've got confusion and darkness and weeds instead of that. He said, I went down to the moorings of the mountains. The earth with its bars closed behind me forever. Yet you have brought up my life from the pit, O Lord my God. This is the experience of what the hypocrites are going to be going through. Okay? And this says, when my soul fainted within me. Okay, you have to come to the end of yourself and see yourself as you really are. Those whitewashed tombs, that exterior is going to be removed. You're going to start seeing the books are open. That means the hearts are being revealed. You're going to start seeing what really is. That's why it's Armageddon. Armageddon is the revealing of truth. And that's what it entails. That's what it means. And that's when that righteous standard is here, when that spirit is here, that life-creating spirit, then it is going to be that when that righteous standard is set, then everything that's not in line and in harmony with it is going to be, in a sense, judging that is not in harmony with it, and then exposing it. That's how you see it. That's exposing the darkness, revealing the hearts, right? The day will reveal all those things. It's that light is shining on that. So everything is going to become known. So otherwise, in other words, that hypocrisy is no longer going to hide the darkness. Okay? So when Jonah went through this experience, he said in verse 7, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer went up to you into your holy temple. Those who regard worthless idols forsake their own mercy. Okay, that's ultimately what people are following, is worthless idols. But I will sacrifice to you with a voice of thanksgiving. I will pay what I have vowed. He's coming into harmony with that sovereign will. Salvation is of the Lord. So the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land. This is the sign that Jesus said that the wicked generation, those who were seeking after a sign, the Pharisees, what they were going to receive, the sign of Jonah. The hypocrites are going to receive the sign of going through 3 days of a belly of fish, 3 days of darkness. And that could be symbolic or it could be literal, I don't know. But a time where basically in your life, you are going to start seeing that darkness. And it may be that things in your life are having to reveal that. So it may be like the waves of the sea. It may be a tumultuous time that you're going through turmoil and hardships or whatever it is, but it's to get you to look internally and see that you're not in harmony. Your life is showing you don't have harmony. That means you're not in harmony with the righteous standard that is now here. Because if you are, then your life is showing peace, is showing fruit. This is also the revealing of the wheat and the tares, okay? It is a time of the harvest. The wheat are people that are growing in harmony. It's the light. Remember, I talked about all that. Versus people that are growing in disharmony. Because again, if you're not in line with that righteous standard, disharmony is what you see in your life. Chaos, whirlwind, just everything, nothing's working anymore because you cannot cover it up with hypocrisy anymore because everything's being revealed. All right, so this is what people will go through, is that time period. And so Jesus said in Luke 11, starting in 29, it said, and while the crowds were thickly gathered together, he began to say, this is an evil generation. It seeks a sign, and no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah the prophet. In your life, that generation, meaning those people of that type of spirit, of that hypocritical spirit, the whitewashed tombs, the one professing to be of God and to all these things but are not, that's the sign they will get, is that sign of Jonah. And it is going to be that time in their life that brings them to their wits' end. And I will continue on in the next video. Until next time, keep stirring the deep. It's the one thing that changes everything else.